Iran is one of the most heavily demonized countries in the Western media, but rarely do they tell you about Iran's history and how they got to their current situation. Actually, they never tell you about it, so I'm going to now. In 1979, Iran had an Islamic Revolution, which was led by students and the religious clergy. This brought to power an anti-Western government with theocratic elements and a mixed economy. Today, about 70% of Iran's banks and industry are in the hands of the state, which means they're not accessible to Western multinational corporations. Which is the main reason why the American ruling class hates Iran so much and why they've been trying to start a war with them for the last 2 decades at least. And you can definitely criticize the Islamic Revolution, its hyper-religious elements, and the Ayatollah. But you should know that in the 1950s, Iranians elected a secular nationalist politician named Mohammad Mossadegh. Mossadegh was not hyper-religious, and he mostly gained popularity because of his plan to invest Iranian oil in Iranian development. For years, Iran's oil resources had been pillaged by British multinational corporations, and Mossadegh originally just asked them to open their books so they could see where all of the Iranian oil money was going. But Britain refused. So next, he asked the British to split Iran's oil wealth with Iran, 50-50. And the British refused. So at that point, he nationalized the oil. He said that these companies no longer belong to Britain, they belong to Iran. And that is when the US and Britain put Iran under an economic embargo before the MI6 and CIA orchestrated a coup to overthrow Mossadegh. He was replaced by a dictatorial monarchy, which was led by the Shah, Reza Pahlavi, who was eventually the leader that was overthrown in the Iranian Revolution. So even if you think Iran is an evil theocracy, they never would have been this way if it wasn't for US and UK imperialism. Iran had a secular leader, but the CIA tossed him out of power because they wanted to keep stealing Iran's oil. So do you see how US meddling in other countries only makes their situations worse? And how the US isn't actually protecting human rights, freedom, and democracy? They're protecting oil interests? It's the same now as it was in 1950.